In this lesson, we will learn about the where when putting in the group by structure. The where comes before the group by and filters the rows, while group by aggregates the columns. If we look at this structure, we see that we have the select column 1 until column n, then comma the aggregate field from the table name. If we use aggregate field, we have to place group by for the columns that we want to group it by. But before that, we can use where in order to filter the rows that we want. So the where operates on the rows and the group by operates on the aggregation. Let's see the example. Here we have the select category ID, comma the average unit price from the product table. If we use average, then we have to insert group by the category ID. And the where is filtering the rows in the category ID. If we don't want to use all rows in category ID, 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on, we just want the rows of the category ID that are 2 or 4. Then we filter the rows, only category IDs in 2 or 4. After that, the category ID that's left, 2 or 4, we want to aggregate it. And then we need to use group by. Let's see it in the SQL server. So first of all, let's see the entire products table. So let's use asterisk and clear it all and then run it. Now we see the entire table. We have the category ID and so on. But we want to filter the rows. If we want to filter the rows, we need to add where. Where is filtering the rows. What rows do we want? We want only the category ID that is equal to 2 or 4. Now, from all these rows, we will see only row that their category ID is 2 or 4. Let's run this. And let's look, we have 77 rows. Now, after running it, we have only 22 rows, and all the categories are 2 or 4. So first of all, we are working on the rows. We want to filter the rows. This is why we are using where. After filtering the rows, we want to aggregate the unit price for the category that we want. So let's write category ID, and we want to do average to the unit price. Let's call it average unit price. If we do average aggregate field, we have to add group by. To the columns that we want them to group by. And now what we get is only the category ID 2 or 4, but not the 22 rows, only 2 rows of the distinct category ID and the average of unit price. Let's see it. And this is what we get. Only 2 rows now, 2 and 4, and they are aggregated by the average of unit price. So the average unit price for category ID 2 is 23.0625. So to sum it up, if we want to filter the rows, we use where. After that, if we want to aggregate, do average, sum, count, max, min, we need to insert group by and group it by the column that we selected.